And welcome to another edition, Fearless Friday. Underground Jaybird, Lanny Beavers with you here like we always are, and here we go. I'm excited. This is always my favorite part of the year right here. We get to the last couple of weeks of the season. I mean, it's kind of sad in a way, but at the same time, we're talking about playoffs. People are getting left home. People are picking up basketballs. You're ordering rings for people. Woo, let's go.
Yeah, I had some big players come back this week.
Yeah.
Big surprises going on, and come on that I think we both big loss for one team that we both kind of called that we'll talk about. A lot of big football. I mean, there's huge games this week.
Oh, man.
I mean, you're talking about seedings, you're talking about playoffs, who stays home, who goes on the road, who gets the open week. There's so much to discuss, and just huge games last week and bigger games this week.
Absolutely here, and you'll notice here that we've got, give me the other shot here, guys. We've got Fearless Friday set up for you guys right here so you can just follow along with us. I know we normally have sort of our big games here, but they're all big this week, so we're going to go through a lot of them right here. So, like I said, this way you can kind of follow along. It's a little easier here. All right, but before we get into all of that good stuff here, let's get into our overall top 10, because really this is the last time we're going to be able to really comment on these things, because after this week, these kind of don't matter. And I know Laney kind of alludes to that quite a bit there. But there you see it. North Little Rock leading the way. Conway overjumps Bryant. They just kind of flip-flop spots. Greenwood, Bentonville, Bentonville West, Fayetteville, PA, West Memphis, and Warren are your top 10.
Really quickly, number 9, West Memphis, really struggling the past 2 weeks.
A little surprising that they're up there even.
Very struggling. Pine Bluff. Squeaked by Pine Bluff last week. Pine Bluff's had a lot of injuries, but woof, boy, that was an ugly game previously the week before. We won't even get into that. Warren's where we thought they were. You know, I've already declared them the state champion. They got an injured player, Burks, so I may have to amend that. May have to amend it, but I won't because I called it. But
that's it.
There's a lot of 4A football to play. Greenwood just a powerhouse, no surprise there. Big game right there, 2 and 3. I know you want to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, in fact, let's jump into the 7A top 10. In fact, you know, you kind of see, or the top 5, excuse me, you see a lot of them right there. North Little Rock, Conway, Bryant, and the Bentonvilles are your top 5. Obviously, you saw Fayetteville in there, and the North Side also still getting some love. Right here,
you've got, and I know you're going to get into it in a minute, you got 2, 3, 4, 5 all playing this week.
Ooh, boy.
I mean, it's.
Favorite time of the year.
It just doesn't get any better than that.
I'm telling you.
Wow. Heavy hitters. Fayetteville, very strong team.
Yeah.
Their quarterback's back.
He is.
They're right there knocking on the door. So there's a lot of good football. North Little Rock, they've got a decent game this week, but they're going to be your state. They're going to be your conference champion here.
Yeah. In fact, let's go to that one here because this game was wild. I was trying to keep up via the Twitter and the app as well, and. You know, for Bryant, I was like, okay. You know, I know you called for them, I think, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I called North Little Rock, but you got to give Bryant a lot of credit. They got some turnovers. They jumped up real quick, 21-0.
They came out, hit him in the mouth.
They thought they did, but North Little Rock came back and punched them
right back.
In the solar plexus. But a very good game. North Little Rock's just so powerful. I don't think anybody's really going to contend with North Little Rock on their way to a second consecutive state champion. I really don't. I think possibly you could see Bryant and Conway finish the season. I know the West has got a lot to say about that. Great quarterback right there, Ren Heffley.
He's balling this year.
He's got a very good game. And you got to give, this is early in the football game when Bryant jumps up 21-0. But you got to give a lot of credit. Now, one thing about it, this game was at North Little Rock. They've got a game that means a lot. I mean, they should win against Cabot this week. Talking about North Little Rock, so they can win the 7A Central. That's not a gimme, though. Cabot got a big win last week over Fort Smith Northside.
Yeah, that was big time.
Yeah, and then now Bryant's got to bounce right back. They've got a big game at home.
Sure do.
And this is going to be implements for the 2 and 3 seeding coming up.
Yeah, this is whether or not you get the bye. But I guess for North Little Rock, I think for me personally, it was good to see them deal with a little adversity.
Yeah, they needed.
Because they have been cruising this year.
Yeah, they needed that, and I just think they're such a good team.
They're strong, man. They're fast. They're big.
They've got it all, and they won a state championship last year. The monkey's off their back. I just don't know if anybody can play with North Little Rock right now. I know Bryant did a good job with them there, but you could see a rematch here.
Oh, yeah,
at War
absolutely.
Memorial. But big games right here. We talk about Conway going to Bryant.
Yeah, throw Conway up there for me, guys. They took on Catholic this past week, and you know, #2 in the state. They look very formidable. I know Conway has kind of been like Bryant, and I know we poked fun at Bryant for a while here, all in good fun though. But Conway's been one of those teams where it's like, boy, they've got numbers. They've always got some speed up there. They've had wonderful quarterback play for the past couple of years. This fellow's name, he escapes me.
Yeah.
I've talked to him the past 2 years at our media day, but man, they're good.
They're only losses to North Little Rock. I mean, so they've been in every game. I mean, don't be surprised if Conway doesn't go to Bryant this Friday night and defeat Bryant.
Yeah.
Because Conway is
and there's
right
a lot
there.
on the line, like you alluded to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 2-3 seed right there.
Yeah.
That's what that means right there.
Absolutely.
It's a 2-3, who gets the, and there's just a lot going on. Conway, a very good football team. Catholic's had a good season, too. They got a star player right there. But
boy, that running back's good of theirs.
Yeah, Sammy, he's very good. But, man, three good teams right there in that 7A Central. I mean, just very good team. Northside, they were on a losing streak right now. They were real powerful. They've lost 3 straight, but they've also played some tough teams. They got a rivalry game this week. This used to be one of my favorite rivals.
Oh, man, I remember
Southside,
you talking about
Northside,
this one,
at Fort Smith. I used to love this rivalry. I think Northside will win this game.
Should.
But Northside's lost 3 straight. So
they have.
Boy, there's so much going on.
There's a lot of moving parts here.
Exciting football.
Quickly, I want to touch on some of the West there. Let's get to the highlight and everything here, to the Bentonvilles.
West and Bentonville.
Bentonville and Bentonville West here. Both these teams going head-to-head this year.
They're going to go head-to-head this Friday, like
this
you
week.
said. This is it right here for the conference champion. Now, Fayetteville is going to have a lot to say with that 2nd seed because Fayetteville, I mean, they're both 6-0, so they'll get a tiebreaker over Fayetteville. But Fayetteville's very strong. They're a very dangerous team. Get the quarterback back.
Yeah, and they should win this week going against Harbor.
Yeah, they should. Harbor's really struggled right now. That's a big win over Springdale, a good-looking Springdale team that Bentonville put on Springdale last week. And great football as Bentonville knocked off Van Buren last week.
Yeah. So
you got the 2 Bentonvilles colliding right here to see who is going to win the 7A West.
Yeah, and here you see West here. You know, I'm going to be honest. I was a little down on both of these, and this is one of these classic cases of, you know, you come out the gate slow, you 0-3. Sometimes they didn't look as good at times, you know. Bentonville lost to Conway, albeit a close game. Conway's a very good team, so we've got that. Bentonville West lost to Bryant and Fort Smith Southside, but that was a long time ago.
But you know what's so funny about this? Both of these teams, both Bentonville started 0-3.
Both of them 0-3.
Both of them.
And here we are.
0-3, and they've won 6 straight.
6 in a row, and not even just.
And
you know, they both kind of eked by Fayetteville. So, you know, for anybody maybe doubting Fayetteville in this whole
Fayetteville's
equation.
still there. Fayetteville's
but
still
other than
there.
that, they have both teams have just steamrolled. They've gotten all 13 tiebreaker points over everybody else except Fayetteville, where Bentonville beat them by 4, West beat them by 3. So, again, like I said, you know, for anybody doubting Fayetteville, they're still in this mix.
Bentonville West and Fayetteville are very strong, and you're not going to play them in the 7A. But this right here, it's Bentonville or Bentonville West will win the 7A West Conference Friday night.
All right. Let's dive into things here. Let's see what's going on here with the standings, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here. Go ahead and throw it up there full screen for me, guys. We'll kind of, again, you can get on fearlessfriday.com. You've also got the app, and you can check out what we've got going on here. So we alluded to North Little Rock. They've pretty much won this conference, and I ran it. They're going for it outright against Cabot. They'll still have, I believe, the 1 seed with the tiebreakers.
They've got the tiebreakers because they've defeated they've defeated Conway and they defeated Bryant. North Little Rock is your 7A Central Conference champ.
Yeah.
Bentonville West winner is your 7A West Conference champ.
Yeah, so a lot of seeding going on here, and I'm just going to kind of zoom in here because that Fort Smith game is also pretty huge. If you look at it there, you see Southside sitting at 3-3, Northside sitting at 2-4. If Northside pulls this one off like we think they can, then they're both sitting at 3-4. Tiebreaker goes. I mean that.
Well, the first tiebreaker is the head-to-head. After that's the points.
Right.
So that's what you have to look at. In South and Northside, they got to beat Southside first because Southside's got a better conference record. But you know that's further down. I think the top 3 is the ones you really look at right
Absolutely here. And also too for Catholic, you know, this is a big one for them too because I think too, and if I go back and look, they actually they beat Cabot.
Well, the bottom
so that could get a little dicey
too. But the bottom 2, you go 6, you go down to the 6th place.
Right. But I'm saying there in terms of big games this week, that Catholic Central
knocked off
Cabot.
They did knock off Cabot. That is true.
And Cabot's got North Little Rock, so you go head to head on that.
it's safe to say North Little Rock's going to win that football game.
Probably so. So if things go kind of the way we think they'll go,
and
Catholic would end up squeaking in.
Well, Catholic's got Central.
Exactly.
Which is like a bye week. So I think Catholic would win. I think Catholic, well, you know, that's just be honest.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, if you don't like it, prove me wrong.
Exactly.
Or prove your opponent wrong. That's more important. Don't worry about me. Do it to your opponent.
Yeah.
So Catholic will probably knock off Central. So it looks like Catholic's going to stay at home for the playoffs.
Which is unfortunate in Mike Melham's last right here. Kind of glancing over here at the West, let me kind of sort things out here. It looks like, well, our teams are pretty well set over there. A couple little seeding things to figure out.
Bentonville, Fayetteville. You got Harbor, that's still a dangerous team. You got Springdale, I still think is a very good team. Both the Heritage schools, I mean, both the Rogers schools are going to sit home. Basketball's probably already going on over there.
Should be okay there. But yeah, I think really what you're seeing there is the Springdales really need to be kind of sorted out, because I think Van Buren is going to be what it is, and obviously, you know, who's your number 1 seed there this week. So pretty straightforward there in the West, and also here in the 7A. But I'm with you. I think really we're looking at the top 3 in both divisions. That's going to be where you're sort of the cream of the crop's going to be for this one. And when we kind of get a little further into the playoffs, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about those 6 teams for the most part here. All right, let's jump out of here. Let's go to the 6A now. As we kind of get things reset here on the old Fearless Friday app here. Throw up the top 5 there, guys. There we go. We got Greenwood leading the way still. West Memphis still getting a couple first-place votes. There's a couple that still believe in them.
I don't know why. If you look at we're going to have to talk about West Memphis a little bit. I brought this up Friday night. Really struggling right now. I don't know if they got some injuries going on. I don't know. But, I mean, they're really struggling. I think they're a little overrated.
Absolutely here. Then you see Benton, Marion, Jonesboro round out your top 5. Searcy and Russellville still getting some votes as well here. Yeah, West Memphis, boy, they are. It's a little head-scratching.
Let's just go right into it if you got time, or if you want to now.
Yeah, let's just dive into it here. Let's bring up the scores here.
The Pine Bluff is injured. They're a very good team.
Yeah.
So there's not, you know, the 24-23 is okay. But that game previously at Jacksonville.
Yeah, overtime.
I mean, now it was in a monsoon.
It was nasty weather.
But
3? Ooh.
That's not good. But they're not.
Sylvan Hills beat Jacksonville, if that means anything.
They're not playing well. Talking about
West
Memphis. West Memphis is going to win the 6A East, and they should. I believe, let's see.
Yeah, Mountain Home. So
I mean, they got Mountain Home this week, so they're going to win, and they're going to get a week off, and they're going to need to regroup. But they're not playing well. But who is playing well is Jonesboro and Searcy and Marion are all looking real good right now.
Absolutely.
Jonesboro's got a big game with Marion this week.
Yeah.
That's going to say who's going to win. Coming, you know, you got Jonesboro at 5-1, and you got Searcy and Marion at 4-2 in the conference.
Yep.
So that's going to have a lot to do what happens there in the seedings in that 6A East.
Absolutely.
And all those schools are very good.
They are good, yeah. So a little surprising that Jonesboro really kind of snuck up, because honestly, earlier in the year, I wasn't really feeling them. But, you know, because you see their schedule right there. I mean, big win over Batesville, but, you know,
they lost 2 straight, talking about Jonesboro. They lost to Conway.
Conway seemed okay.
That's not a bad loss. I thought the Catholic loss was a bad loss.
I'm right there with you.
And I think they hurt them. But, and they lost to West Memphis 35-14. But it seems like after that game, and maybe West Memphis just got too high, they have really come back down to earth, West Memphis, after that.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot going on right there in that 6A East.
Sure is. In terms of your seeding, you know, you still got Searcy and Marion kind of duking it out for some things going on there, at least for those first-round home games. Those 2 teams, Jonesboro's got, well, hey, they go head-to-head this week. How about that?
That's right, Jonesboro, Marion.
Should be interesting.
And it should be. Jonesboro's 5-1. They'll probably come and play. All they got to do is knock off Marion, and they're going to be your second-place team there.
Yeah, and then Searcy's got Sylvan Hills.
Should win that one.
Unfortunately, they should win that one.
Yep.
So hurts my soul to say that, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy, give me an upset.
Well, I mean, that was tough for Sylvan Hills. They go from a 5 to a 6, and they got to decline a little bit younger players. That was a tough move for Sylvan Hills this year.
It's always a little harder to go up than it is to come back down here.
Right,
but yeah, that offense seems to be kind of trying to figure some things out a little bit. Defensively, they've been pretty solid all year, but boy, that offense is just struggling right now.
Over on the west side, you got Greenwood's going to win your conference.
Yeah, let's scroll down here.
They should win Friday night. You got Benton that's probably going to – they should knock off Sheridan. Russellville's done well. They're going to probably get that 3rd seed, and they've got a big game here. You know, at Siloam Springs, it's a much better Siloam Springs.
Much better Siloam, yeah.
In pass, but Russellville should get that. But top to bottom, I really think. You know, I want to say the I'm not sure I want to say the 6A East is just as good because I don't know what's going on with West Memphis.
Right.
But Jonesboro, Searcy, and Marion
are all real solid.
are, I think, better than the Russellvilles and the Siloam Springs.
And I think you said it last week. I think the better teams in this classification are in the West with Greenwood and Benton.
Yeah,
but I think there's more depth on the eastern side.
I do. I still don't know what's going on with West Memphis. Well, that is, to me, that is
it's quite the enigma.
After Friday night, that was the biggest question I had is what's going on with the Blue Devils at West Memphis.
Yeah, so we'll have to kind of figure that one out, see if we can get something for you guys here. You know, kind of looking at the western side, I think you kind of alluded to it, Siloam and El Dorado, still kind of trying to figure things out. El Dorado's got Hall this week. Siloam, though.
That's an open week for El Dorado.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Siloam Springs kind of got a little battle with them there as we kind of scroll down here with Russellville. So that'll really kind of
That's a tough game for Siloam Springs. Russellville's doing a little bit better. I think Russellville probably will win that game, but that have a lot to do with the seedings too. Should
be interesting. Your Lake Hamilton guys are going to look like they're going to get into the playoffs here.
Yeah, they're going to get in because they're in the same conference with Sheridan and Little Rock Hall, and that's why they're going to get in there. But they have not beaten a team in the 6A with a winning record, and that really hurts them. Absolutely. They had a good shot at Benton, didn't do what they needed to do.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a little surprising to me. Yeah,
they get to go to Greenwood this Friday night, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's talk a little Benton here for a second. Yeah,
I didn't think Benton. Yeah, I didn't think. Well, Lake Hamilton always plays Benton well. That's one. They do play them very good, and that had a lot
throw
to
that
do
up, Steve. There we go.
Lake Hamilton dominated the time of possession.
Well, their offense is built to kind of do a little more of that, aren't they?
It is. When you got 3 plays, you're going to dominate the time of possession. But Benton did what they needed to do to win.
Yeah.
I believe Harper, that was a running back. Here comes Malik Brewer on this, one of their 3 plays on the jet sweep, but he goes about, I think he goes about 80 yards right here. Got a lot of speed. If he ever gets outside, he's going to take it. There's not very many people who run with Malik Brewer right there for Lake Hamilton.
He's quick.
He's very fast.
But Benton, what did they look like in that? Did they seem like they were struggling a little bit, or was it really just come down to time of possession?
Unfortunately for Coach Harris, once again, he's lost his starting quarterback, and he's got to use a backup. But this quarterback,
poor guy, man.
I thought he did pretty well. And I don't know. I was kind of surprised by the outcome. I was proud for Lake Hamilton, but I think Benton struggles with Lake Hamilton. I can't tell you why.
It's one of them things?
I think Benton right now is the way West Memphis is struggling. Is still the number 2 team in 6A.
I'd have to go with you there. And really throughout the season, they just
Lake Hamilton
really looked good.
But I'll tell you that Lake Hamilton's dangerous though because they got the speed. They got the speed with Malik Brewer.
They could get a first rounder. Depending on what the matchup is and all that, I think they could
It looks
advance.
like right now, the way things are looking, it looks like it's going to be a Lake Hamilton-Searcy matchup next Friday, so that'll be interesting. Same matchup as it was last year.
Yeah.
And it would be at Searcy, so we'll see what happens. We'll talk all about that next Friday.
Absolutely. Once we get to the brackets and all that good stuff here, you best believe this whole thing changes in the brackets. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun here. All right, those are the big dogs here. We got a lot to talk about here in the 5A because there's a lot going on here. And then this 4A, oh, this 4A makes my head hurt. I know Laney's already called for champions. I have no clue who's going to win this thing personally. But we will get to all that here in just a second. It's Fearless Friday Underground. Bir and Lanny Beavers, we got the page here. Make sure you get on it. FearlessFriday.com. Get your app out right now. Follow along with us so you know what we're talking about here. It's about to get in the weeds here, coming up here, because we got a lot more teams, a lot more conferences here. So it's Fearless Friday Underground. Stay with us.
Wendy's 4 for $4 just got better because now there's more variety with 8 sandwiches to choose from. So choose a 4 for $4 with a double stack, a crispy chicken sandwich, or any of these others, plus nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. So try all 8 and pick your favorite, only at Wendy's. Right now, all fries at Wendy's are just $1. That's a huge deal on any size of Wendy's natural cut sea salted goodness. But a deal this good won't last long. So get your dollar fries at Wendy's before they're gone. Wendy's 4 for $4 is now better than ever because it's the deal with more variety than ever. With 8 different sandwiches to choose from, plus nuggets, fries, and a drink. So choose a double stack, or the crispy chicken sandwich, or a grilled chicken go-wrap, or the junior bacon cheeseburger, or any of these others. Whatever you choose, you still get this much food, all for just $4. So try all 8 and pick your favorite, and taste what makes the new 4 for $4 deliciously different. Only at Wendy's.
Fearless Friday Underground, back here with it. Let's jump right into things here because we have no room to be just messing around here. Let's get to the top 5 here. Looking like this. In fact, it's like the exact same from last week. PA, Harrison, I like that. Gobs are up there. Little Rock Christian, Texarkana. Someone really believes in them as they got a first-place vote. And then Little Rock, McClellan, and Nettleton still getting a little bit of love, which is kind of odd considering they lost this past week.
Can't argue with any of that.
Nope, not at all. It's been kind of that all year, and they have kind of proven like that's sort of how this thing is going to go this year.
Yep.
So real interesting here. We haven't talked a lot of PA here this year, and maybe it's because it's just PA doing what PA does. But you know, when you lose the caliber of players they had from last year's team, to be able to just reload this thing without a hiccup. I mean, you maybe have expected maybe a little bump in the road here for them, but I mean they just picked up right where they left off.
They're not as good as they were last year. I'll tell you that right now. And I think if anybody talked to Coach Kevin Kelly, he'd tell you the same thing. They're not as big. They don't have the experience at quarterback as they did last year. What they do have is they have a team that believes they can win. They've got a great system. They've got a great junior high. Everybody believes in the same thing.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems 5A schools have is they don't think they can beat them. Until you believe you can beat Pulaski Academy, you will not beat Pulaski Academy. That's the biggest problem. You see this happen week after week.
Yep.
But my compliments off to Pulaski Academy. And just forget, don't forget, you can't spell pass without PA.
Not at all. So it'll be interesting to see them come playoff time.
I think it's going to come down Pulaski Academy and Texarkana, to be honest with you.
Should be interesting.
I know Little Rock Christian's got a lot to say about that. I would love to see that game, Pulaski Academy and Texarkana, because to me, and Harrison looks real good too.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Boy, those would be some high-scoring affairs.
That's right. But, boy, Texarkana's got some speed. They got some size.
They're big dudes.
They're scary good.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now. This is going to be a lot of fun here in the playoffs coming up.
We'll talk about them here in a second. A game I do want to get to, you mentioned Little Rock Christian. They took on Maumelle this past week, and, you know, you would have thought they were on the hardwood, and there were some hoops out there.
Man, I saw that score, and I couldn't believe it.
I thought we typoed something.
83 to 67.
83 points. Like, I don't even understand how there's that much time in a game to score 83 or 87, excuse me, 87 points. I mean, that's
when there's poor tackling.
150 points between the two.
When you're not tackling well, like you saw right there at the line of scrimmage, you're going to put up a lot of points.
Man, our poor guys that were out there this past week, they had to be out there till 2 in the morning. Thankfully, you know, the World Series was going on, so they did their report live.
Yeah, there's some real, I mean, I'm sorry, but that was a real bad pass defense right there.
Yeah. But my goodness, yeah, we're just kind of giving you a snippet of this actual game here. But, I mean, really it was like a tennis match. It was back and forth all night. It was just insane.
No defense. These are kind of games as a spectator I love to watch too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love a good defensive battle as much as the next guy, but when you get ridiculous scores like this.
When you're as a fan, you just want to watch offense. I think that play was actually down right before.
Give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Watch this defensive play right here. Watch this secondary here. But get a pass
merciful goodness. It was one of those kind of nights for these teams here. But
they get a pass interference, and yet
still scored.
They still don't cover.
Exactly, man. It was just
that's how you give up 67 points, and that's what's scary for Little Rock Christian against Pulaski Academy.
Yeah,
they don't think they can beat them, and they give up plays like that.
Yeah, now offensively, you know, they're pretty formidable. As you can see, 87 points.
They can score some points.
And I know the big emphasis coming in this year was that defense, and it still looks like it's very much a work in progress. So
there's two schools I'll get into in a minute that can give PA fits, keeping them from getting a 5P.
All right, well, who you got?
I think Harrison because of the size, the line size, and Texarkana, no doubt.
Oh, you mentioned Texarkana. They took on Hope this past week, and we've been talking about them all year. And I was a little skeptical at first because I just didn't know how they were going to adjust to 5A, but they have adjusted just fine.
I've been watching Texarkana the past 4 years when they were in the 6A, so I know I've been watching them as a young team grow up, and I knew they had a lot of speed and they have a lot of size, and they're very well coached. They're very scary good. I don't think Texarkana knows how good they are, even though they're undefeated in their conference. They've only got one loss, and that was to the Texarkana, Texas Tigers. I don't think the Razorbacks realize how good they are, and that's what's very scary.
Because really, if you look at coming through, looking at the standings here or their schedule, Shiloh Christian, that's a formidable team right there at the 4A level. But you mentioned Texarkana, Texas, and then really they've only been challenged once, and that was by McClellan.
Which you would expect.
And
you would expect McClellan to challenge
yeah,
them.
and that one came down to the last few minutes of that game.
Yeah, and that was a game that Texarkana needed to go to go further in the playoffs. And there's no Texarkana. I mean, Little Rock McClellan's a great team. They've been in the state finals 2 of the last 3 years. Nothing wrong with that right there. So Texarkana needed that game. They're not going to have much competition this week with the Queen, and they're going to win their conference. Talking about the Razorbacks, but there is a big game there, and I know you're going to get back into it in this conference in a few minutes.
Yeah, let's just kind of scroll back up here. I know you guys see me scrolling up on the big screen there. We'll start here at the top, kind of roll through things quickly. PA's got that one. Little Rock Christian should have.
Yeah, Little Rock Christian will come in 2. PA's going to be 1. Little Rock Christian's going to be 2. Whitehall's scary, but they've kind of took it on the chin a couple of times recently.
Yeah. Now Little Rock. Now Parkview's got Little Rock Hall this past week, so that we're going to pretty much put them in the playoffs here. If BB could somehow pull the upset, that would put them in the conversation there. I don't think. Well, no, they lost to Whitehall, so I think we're pretty much set in terms of your playoff teams.
Well, Christian's going to win that game anyway.
Well, yeah. So we'll just kind of move along here.
Now, if you're going to go down.
Now your 5A East is looking dicey. I mean, look at that.
Well, look at this here though. Nettleton right there, but then you got Wind, Valley View, Blytheville, Batesville, all at 4 and 2.
And someo's got to stay home, which is so unfortunate.
It is very tough. I mean,
let's kind of look through here because you got Batesville and Valley View.
But the big game is at the top. It's Nettleton and Wind because they play each other Friday night.
Oh,
so
mercy.
if Wind wins this one, it's a log jam. Everybody's got the same conference record. Yeah, and then you got all kinds.
Yeah, so say Wind pulls that one off, and then you've got basically the winner of Valley View and Batesville is in that mix as well, and then Blytheville has Forest City, so they should get a win there. Although Forest City might have something to say about it too, if they can somehow pull it off. They're at least in the mix maybe for that last spot, just kind of depending on how things work out here. So. This is one of these situations, guys, where there's a lot of big games. Again, maybe not necessarily ranked games, but
what you need to do is get your Fearless Friday out, watch your scores come in Friday night, and we'll go over it in the playoffs, but you'll have a lot of fun Friday night when you watch those scores come in right there. There's too many different scenarios.
It's going to be fun, yeah. And this one's got too many to even really sort of break down here because everybody's playing each other, so that's going to be fun on top of that. And then even, like I said, Forest City, they're kind of on the outside looking in, but they still kind of got an outside shot. If you go back and look at their wins, though, you got Greene County. They did beat Batesville. So if somehow Batesville is down there, like I said, things could get weird over there. So
you also got to look at your conference points, too.
Absolutely. Got to look at some of that, too. You look at your tiebreaker points up there as well. They're sitting pretty low in things, so it could be a little hard for Forest City, but they could somehow sneak in. It's a long shot, but they got a shot, I think.
There's just too much going on right there. If you look down at the 5A South.
Let's get to the South here.
There's a huge game coming on. Texarkana's going to win this. I'm going to go ahead and declare Texarkana your conference champion.
Do it.
But you've got a big game right here between McClellan and Fairview to see who's in second. And
absolutely. And that's actually my game this week.
That game is at Camden Fairview. So you got to like Fairview a little bit at home.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a while ago, McClellan's been to the wars. They've already played Texarkana.
Yeah.
I would think the Crimson Lions should win this game, but that is a big game. It's got a lot to do with the playoffs, who is 2 and who is 3 in this conference right here.
Absolutely.
Also, Lakeside's going to make it. Lakeside's had a pretty good year right now. They're standing at 3 and 3 in the conference. Talking about Hot Springs Lakeside, and they will mercy rule. I know I shouldn't say that because we don't do point spreads, but they will beat their rival Hot Springs Friday night. So Lakeside will win Friday night.
Yeah, now going back to Camden Fairview, you see him up there. I went to that Robinson game with there, and then I was just kind of like, this is the best they've got.
They came on strong.
They struggled, but then you look at their offense after that. I mean, now granted, you had Lakeside, solid team. They were rolling at that point. Texarkana, not a bad loss there. Texarkana is real strong. Magnolia, they're putting up points. DeQueen putting up points. And granted, they're not the strongest teams, but offensively, they're starting to kind of figure things out.
They got well at the right time. They played weaker schools, and they got well, and that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling you with Fairview earlier in the season. I said, man, they're there. They're going to be a lot better. They just had a very tough non-conference. You go play El Dorado. That's a tough game. And Robinson, they got manhandled by Robinson.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been manhandled by Robinson. That's not a bad loss there. But a lot of good football left.
I want to see what this one's like this coming week.
I think McClellan's going to win it, but it is a big game.
Yeah, absolutely here. And so that'll decide a lot because you really don't want Camden Fairview coming into town the way they are right now.
No.
Not at all.
I'm going to tell you, though, there was a surprise to me coming up in the 5A West. And
let's get into it.
It's going to be very interesting because Morrilton got the quarterback back.
Ooh.
The one with, I can't think of his name real quick. Help me.
Yeah, you would ask me right now. But
anyway,
either way, we know he's good.
Preseason, Morrilton was 1 or 2 in the 5A.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he goes down, now he's back. And
just in time to get a game under his belt.
You got Harrison undefeated, but you got Morrilton at 4-2, and Morrilton's back, and they're coming back strong. They're going to be at Clarksville. They should win that game. But you got
fairly safe to say.
You got Morrilton, Greenbrier, and Alma and Logjam right there for second place. And there's a lot of good football to be played right there.
Yeah, Alma should win at Huntsville, so that could probably jettison them into things. Morrilton got Clarksville, like you mentioned. That should be that.
The Greenbrier-Valonia is a huge rivalry game. That's not a gimme for Greenbrier.
No.
That's a huge rivalry.
Because they do not like each other.
Watch Morrilton, though. They're going to be scary here in the 5A.
Absolutely here. And then also in the mix, you've got, we mentioned Alma and then Valonia. Okay, so we kind of rolled through all of those scenarios there.
Harrison's going to win the conference champion. They've had
they pretty much locked it up. Is there 2 games ahead of everybody?
They're going to win that one. But we're talking about the seedings coming down the road.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, of course, we'll spend more time with that next week. But there's a lot of good football to be played right there this Friday night.
Yeah, a lot going on there in that 5A West, and that'll do it for here in the 5A. So let's get right into the 4A. Throw up the top 5 there for me, guys, because it's jumbled up a little bit here because we have got a little change here. Warren still holding down the top spot. Robinson back up to number 2.
We both called that last week.
Nailed it. Stuttgart and then Bauxite drops down to 4. Then you got Rivercrest getting back up into things.
But
and then a host of other teams.
That's not a bad loss for Bauxite because
not at all.
Arkadelphia was injured. They had some very tough, and here you go right here. They had some very tough games. They started out, I think, 0-3, but I kept saying, do not count out Arkadelphia.
Oh, no.
And here they come.
State champs for a reason.
Here they come. I mean, Arkadelphia's a very good football team. We knew they were, and we knew Bauxite coming off that big win previously with Robinson, it was going to be so difficult to come back. But when you look at Arkadelphia, they lost 5 straight. 5 straight games.
They were 0-5.
But now they've won 4 straight. And they knocked off Bauxite. They're going to knock off Malvern, too. Malvern's not a good team
Yeah, they're not good this year.
They're going to knock off Malvern. So Arkadelphia, the defending state champion, is scary good. Not a bad loss for Bauxite. They can still hang on. If they can win with the tiebreaker, they would still win the conference, be tied for it, but they would get the number 1 seed. But Bauxite, it's not over yet. They got to play Nashville now.
Gee, like we said last week, boy, we put you through the ringer here in the 4A7. And
it's never.
Man, oh man. Now I know Nashville's kind of stubbed their toe a little bit as the season's gone along.
But they're 7-2.
But they're still good.
But they're 7-2. They've only got a couple losses. They've lost to Robinson, and they've lost to a surprise
Haskell Harmony
Grove was an upset. Another team, though, that's got a big win that's fighting to get in the playoffs is Fountain Lake. They got a big win at Haskell Harmony Grove.
Neither one of us could talk this morning.
Wow. They got a big win there. The Cobras did. So, my gosh, that 4A7 is just unbelievable. You got Robinson, you got Bauxite, you got Nashville.
Yeah.
And you got a very strong surge in Arkadelphia.
Yep, they're moving on up here, and then kind of looking at maybe the scenarios here. Fountain Lake's got Ashdown this week, so that could be huge in them getting in.
They should win that one.
Because Haskell
Harmony
Grove has got Robinson, so
yeah, I think Robinson's going to win.
Robinson should win that one, and then looking at it, so Fountain Lake would have the tiebreaker at 1 point. That 1 point there.
That was a big win over Haskell Harmony Grove.
Yeah, and that could get them left out. You know, and that's crazy. You beat a team like Nashville, and you're going to be left out.
That's tough.
That's how strong this conference is, and that's why we kind of harp on it.
If you go back, though, to Northwest Arkansas, in the 4A1,
let's work our way back up
This is where it starts right here. Shiloh Christian, Pea Ridge, Friday night, conference champion on the line.
Let's go.
Both teams 6-0 in conference.
Look at that.
I mean, you can't get any better than that. You got Prairie Grove, Lincoln following up. But this is what it's all about right in here. And this game is at Pea Ridge.
Ooh, okay.
This is for the conference championship right here in the 4A1.
I would probably lean road team in this one myself. Shiloh has really been doing work this year. Surprising that they haven't made a higher appearance here in the poll. I think everybody just kind of forgot about them. And of course, a lot of this has been dominated by the 4A7 for a lot of the year. And then you've got teams like Stuttgart who've been real solid, and Warren, obviously, so it's like they kind of got lost in the mix somehow.
Let's talk about Stuttgart too. 4A2 conference coming up. Stuttgart has got CAC, and that game is on the road. Stuttgart should win that game, but if they don't, they're going to be tied with Heber Springs. Granted, at the Panthers, and they should beat Little Rock Mills. So there's some, there's some interesting games right there.
A lot going on there. I think with Bald Knob, they've got Batesville Southside. That one could be for that last playoff spot. So if you guys are out in that, I mean, honestly, all these games that we're talking about here, go out and get to them, because there's a lot on the line, and it may not be the best teams in the state per se, but it's going to be good stuff.
Look at this one right here.
What we got?
4A3. You got Truman, Rivercrest, Jonesboro West Side, all at 5-1 right now.
Oh, my goodness.
There was a huge win last week as Truman knocked off West Side. And see, this is what we talked about, because the previous week West Side had knocked off Rivercrest.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good football to go right here. West Side's going to play at Gosnell. And Gosnell's 4-2. They're salty themselves.
Yeah, they're not a pushover.
So there's a lot there. Truman should knock off Cave City. Rivercrest should, I would think they would beat Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So,
and then who's Pocahontas got? They've got Highland, and then they should win that one. So that would actually knock Brooklyn out of the playoffs.
There's a real good chance you're going to have a three-way, because they don't play each other here Friday night, but there's a real good chance you're going to have a three-way tie. And then you're going to have to look at your tiebreaker situations. When you got three teams, you don't do, you look at the points, who did the best within the conference.
Yeah. Well, then it's like, when it comes to the tiebreaker points, these are usually beyond head-to-heads. Whoever's the lowest tiebreaker points, push them out, and then you go head-to-head.
That's right.
And that's how you determine the seedings. They all share the conference patches on the jackets. Yeah. We're not saying that they won't be champs, but in that scenario, say everybody wins, West Side gets put out, and then if you look at Truman Rivercrest, Rivercrest got the win there, so they would be the 1 seed in that scenario if everybody ends up winning this week, which they should.
They should win that. Now in the 4A4.
We've seen weird stuff in this conference.
That's right. 4A4, you've got Ozark.
Let's move on down here. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Ozark undefeated 6-0, and
how about Ozark?
You got Dardanelle at 5-1. They've already played. Ozark's already knocked off Dardanelle.
Yeah.
So Ozark should win, and they will probably win their conference right there, as they're going to go to Elkins. Elkins is a 4-2. It's a decent team.
They were real good.
Lot going on right there.
A lot still to be determined.
But if Dardanelle wins and Ozark loses, Ozark still gets the conference #1 seed, because they have knocked off Dardanelle.
Absolutely, and you look at Dardanelle, they've got Mina this week, so a lot to be determined there. I mean, Dardanelle could very well be the 2 seed. They could drop down to 3, potentially even to 4. No, they would. I think 3 is about the worst they can do if things work out the way kind of we think they are. Pottsville, who do they have this week? They've got Subiaco. Should win that one, so that could get them into the mix, at least in terms of the seeding. They're already pretty well in the playoffs. It's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Pottsville's pretty much, they're in. It's just a matter of where they're going, it looks like, because I think they'll be on the road. Elkins, they lose to Ozark. They've still got the head-to-head. So, like I said, there's a lot going on here, man. There's a lot going on.
4A7 we've already covered. You got Robinson, Bauxite. Robinson and Bauxite tied both 5-1. Bauxite has got the head-to-head. But
big but.
Bauxite's got a huge game. They got to host Nashville, where Robinson's opponent is at Haskell Harmony Grove. Not an easy trip, but I think Robinson will win that one.
Should.
Nashville's going to have a lot to say about who wins this conference right here. So that's a huge game right there. If they both finish up at 6-1 in conference, Bauxite gets the #1 seed.
Absolutely here, and even down there in that 4A8, it's looking like Warren will.
Warren should win it, but don't forget Hamburg Dumas.
Helena was telling us.
Both setting at 5-1. Warren will play Helena West Helena Central. They'll host them. They should win that game, so Warren should win. And they lost a key player. I know I've already talked about the rings. Maybe prematurely, because Burks has gone down. He's out for the season, possibly. But Warren's still Warren.
Should be, yeah. And even a big game here in this one here. This will be for the last playoff spot. Cross it at Star City.
Yeah,
huge one there.
Yeah, Star City's now got Chris Farine, former Hot Springs High Trojan coach, and he's now at Star City.
Absolutely.
Star City's been a dangerous team. They've had some losses, but they've been. If you look at their games, except for Warren, man, they've been close in a lot of these games.
Yeah, Dumas, they were close, and Dumas is a good team here. Helena West, I mean, obviously they're up in the standings. That was a fairly close one. You know, they smashed DeWitt. They got Monticello. Cross it. This is it. This is it for them. So still a lot to be determined, and even in terms of the seeding and everything, because you see Hamburg there got Dumas. Winner of that one is likely your 2 seed. Yeah, more than likely, because they'll be 6-1. Warren will probably be 7-0. So yeah, that's your 2 seed right there. So that one's huge implications there. You're talking about I think a lot of the 3s will be home teams, but further down the road where you're at in the bracket is kind of what we're talking about with that one right there. But that Star City Cross, that's to get in this thing. That's to extend your season for at least a week. And that is it on that. But I do want to quickly go back, touch base on Shiloh Christian, because, man, they are rolling. They took on Gravett this past week. And, again, you kind of forgotten about Shiloh this year. What do you think of that?
I don't think you forgot about them. It's just that the 4A7 has been so big right now, and you've also got
Warren and some of the other brands that are out there.
I think they're just 2 good teams. Plus, you've had Pea Ridge, you've had Prairie Grove coming out there knocking off Shiloh Christian. I can't remember which one it was, made it to the finals of the P schools.
I believe it was Pea Ridge or
Pea Grove. And Shiloh's been down, but they're back. There's nothing wrong with Shiloh. I just don't think they're up there with the 4A7 schools and Warren right now.
And the Warrens and the Stuttgarts of the world. All right, interesting here. And speaking
I think they play Stuttgart pretty good.
Yeah.
I just don't know where they'd be with the Warren or Robinson. Robinson's just scary good.
And they are.
I mean, with Burke, I would say right now, even though I've declared Warren the champ.
Yeah, throw Warren up there for me, Phillips.
With Burke's going down for Warren, Robinson, even though they may not even win their conference, Jay, this is what's funny. They may be the favorite going into the playoffs with Burke. With Burke.
Yeah, there you see him. Yeah, which just breaks your heart for him.
It breaks your heart, but also you got to feel good for Morrilton as they get their player back.
Yeah, exactly. So it should be interesting there.
It's Grigsby, I believe.
Yeah, and even with Warren, I mean, they've had him out for the past. I mean, they still solidly beat a good Hamburg team. There you see the score, 36-14.
Yeah, so when you lose a player like Burke, so it's tough to. That's tough to overcome. I mean, we talked about this before in the lower classification. You get a playmaker like that.
He's out. Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic.
It changes everything. So we'll just have to see what happens there.
Absolutely here. So still a lot to be determined here in the 4A. So.
Not taking anything away from Shiloh, but there's good schools in the 4A right now.
Well, it's going to be fun when they start running into each other here come bracket time. So that's another one of my favorite times of the year. Woo! Okay, got through the 5A, we got through the 4A. We're going to take a little breather here. Let's catch our breath here. We got the 3A, we got the 2A. Big game there in the 2A this past week. We'll talk about them here coming up. Fearless Friday Underground.
Wendy's 4 for $4 just got better because now there's more variety with 8 sandwiches to choose from. So choose a 4 for $4 with a double stack, a crispy chicken sandwich, or any of these others, plus nuggets, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. So try all 8 and pick your favorite, only at Wendy's. Right now, all fries at Wendy's are just $1. That's a huge deal on any size of Wendy's natural cut sea salted goodness. But a deal this good won't last long. So get your dollar fries at Wendy's before they're gone. Wendy's 4 for $4 is now better than ever because it's the deal with more variety than ever. With 8 different sandwiches to choose from, plus nuggets, fries, and a drink. So choose a double stack, or the crispy chicken sandwich, or a grilled chicken go-wrap, or the junior bacon cheeseburger, or any of these others. Whatever you choose, you still get this much food, all for just $4. So try all 8 and pick your favorite, and taste what makes the new 4 for $4 deliciously different. Only at Wendy's.
Fearless Friday Underground back in there with you. We've hydrated. We've got our breath back. Let's get into this thing here. Let's go 3A, top 5. It's pretty much the same as last week. There you go. Boonville, Clinton, Smackover, Rising, Prescott. Hadn't changed in a couple of weeks. McGee jumping into things with some others getting votes. Glen Rose right on the outside looking in. They're pretty close to getting into this thing here. Let's get to a couple of big games that were going on this past week. Boonville taking on Lamar. It was a huge one in that 3A1.
That was your conference champion right there.
Yeah, there it was.
I know there's another game this week. Boonville wins that one pretty big. They're going to finish probably undefeated in their conference, where Lamar's going to have the one loss. This is just a huge win for Boonville. I mean, the Bearcats probably came in this game as a favorite on the road there. But when you win big on the road, 28-7 with everything on the line, that's a statement right there.
Absolutely, and you know, Boonville's been one of these teams where it's like, yeah, we've seen this dancing before. Lamar, I don't think, has really been in that spotlight much.
Undefeated until last week.
Yeah.
But they go down to Boonville. Shows you the type of team Boonville is right now in the 3A.
Absolutely here. Another big team that I like, I've been on this bandwagon for a long time, Glen Rose, taking on Atkins this past week, and really, you know, the Beavs, this is a dangerous team because they've got some speed. You can see it on display there.
They've only lost one game this year. They're undefeated in conference play. Their only loss was to Bauxite, which at the time we thought was a big upset, but it turns out it's not, because that's how good Bauxite is in the 4A. The Beavers, very good team right now, 6-0. They've already knocked off Mayflower, who's in second. Mayflower's at Jessieville. They should win that game Friday night. And let's see, Glen Rose is going to play at Baptist Prep. That's like an off week. So, Glenn, congratulations. Go ahead and get those conference championships, Glen Rose, right there.
Get your patch on your jacket there, Beavers. Let's go here.
Yeah, big
that was a huge win. And I've been on that bandwagon, like I said, for a long time here.
You have.
And they're peaking here at the right time here. All right, let's get to the top of things here. Let's kind of work our way through the 3A as quick as we can here. But then the 3A1 kind of throws everything into a muck here. Boonville, likely your conference champ. Lamar looking like it's going to be your number 2. And then everything just gets thrown into a tizzy here, as the next 4 teams are sitting at 3-3. And I don't think they're all playing each other, but we can just kind of scroll through things here. Mansfield playing Pelly. They should win that one, so that should put them in Greenland. Got West Fork. Another one of those things where they should win. So then you've got Cedarville playing Boonville. So everybody's playing somebody else. So that's what kind of really makes this one a bit of a mystery, is all these teams are playing somebody else other than themselves for this last playoff spot. And by the way things are looking here, you've got Charleston at Lamar. So that one could be interesting. Cedarville, Boonville. Cedarville looks like, at least initially, prove me wrong come Friday night or Thursday night. Remember, it's that last week of the year. Could be the team on the outside looking in. Just kind of depends on how things work out. A lot of crazy stuff going on here in this one.
Certainly is. Looks like Boonville. It looks like it's Boonville and Lamar in the 3A1. The 3A2, Clinton, very powerful team.
Yeah, I've been on that one all year. Here we go.
They're going to win their conference. They're going to play Mountain View, and they're going to go to Mountain View, and they should win that game. Here's an interesting game. Melbourne, 4-2 right now. Their conference season's over. They're going to go. They're going to play East Poinsett County Friday night, so that conference season's over. You've also got Harding Academy at 4-1 right now. Harding Academy, their game is with Hampton. Hampton's still a little salty right now, but that is not a conference game either. So,
so this one's a little more jumbled than normal.
It is. It's those forfeit games. It's a can't remember the school right now. We'll find it in a minute. Episcopal, I think, is the one that dropped out. In 3A, and it really just kind of put schools were.
Well, and I believe Rosebud also.
Yeah, and they had to pick up some games.
Yeah.
So Harding Academy and Melbourne. Conference season's already over for them. So congratulations, Clinton is your conference champion in the 3A2.
So there you go here.
3A3, biggest game. The 3A3's got the biggest game in 3A right now is Friday night. You got undefeated Osceola against undefeated Newport in conference play, both 6-0.
Yeah.
And this is it right here.
Let's go.
The Seminoles go to the Greyhounds at Newport. Both of them undefeated, 6-0. Huge game right here. Whoever wins this one is your conference champ.
Absolutely. You want to see 2 teams that don't like each other, and both teams that can lay some wood. I know Newport is known for it. I know when they were in that 5A, you know, they would stroke people. Osceola's been one of these teams. They are physical. They like to run the ball. Traditionally, they do anyways. Woo! This is one you want to get to if you're up there in the northeast corner.
Winner gets the patch.
Winner gets the patch.
Loser gets the second place because it's already set. And Walnut Ridge will come in third. So that's what's happening in 3A3. 3A4 real quick.
Well, hold on. Going back to that one, you still got a little bit to be decided there. Hoxie and Piggott. Hoxie's going to Walnut Ridge. probably taking an L there. And then Piggott has Corning. They should get the win there. So likely that's going to sort of decide that.
Hey, you got to give Corning credit.
Corning's
got a perfect season on the line right now as they go at Piggott, and they will probably get a perfect season for the year.
Oh, not one of those.
Sean Arnell's alma mater, Corning, right there.
Oh, not one of those perfect seasons. I hate that for you, Corning. I'm sorry. Let's just move on to 3A4. So we got Glen Rose. You kind of touched on it there.
Yep.
You got Glen Rose pretty much leading the way there. Mayflower, and then it gets a little dicey here. With Danville Baptist Press, Atkins, and Jessieville. Atkins going to Two Rivers, another one of those perfect seasons on the line, probably going to get it there, so that should elevate Atkins into things. You mentioned Jessieville going to Mayflower. That's probably going to knock them out of the playoffs altogether.
Mayflower should win that football game.
And then Baptist Prep hosting Glen Rose, will be sort of interesting. And then you look at sort of your head-to-head for that last playoff spot. They lost to Atkins, so that would make them the 5 seed coming out of the 3-4A. So, but still a lot to be decided there. So I don't want to seed somebody just yet, but likely this is what we're going to see. So, and based on our opinion here.
Yep.
Let's move on down here to the 3A5. Smackover has been just running things here.
Since they got the win at Prescott, they should win the conference.
Camden Harmony Grove, though, this week, so there's a little bit.
Camden Harmony
they're trying to get the whole thing for themselves.
Yeah, Camden Harmony Grove had their shot. They had Prescott last week. Now they got Smackover this week, and boy, it's not been
brutal.
I'm sure Camden Harmony Grove. They were undefeated until they kind of got smoked.
Ran into the buzzsaw, yeah.
40-0 Prescott. Not looking real good as they go to Smackover. So I think Smackover would win that game, which would give Smackover the conference champion. Prescott would come in 2. Camden Harmony Grove would be 3. But, hey, what about Centerpoint, man? They've had a good season this year. We hadn't talked to them in a long time.
No, sure haven't.
The Knights. They're right there at 6-3. That's the former Glenwood Amity schools to converge.
And then how about that, this one right here? I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so Horatio Falk for your last seed there. So, again, you're extending your season there. Let me see if I can move it over a little bit there for you guys. Yeah, you look at the record. They're both sitting at 2-4 in conference. They play each other. So, it may not be for patches or anything like that, but you're extending your season here. So that's a huge game right there with Horatio and Falk. It's going to be at Horatio. So take that as you might see. Kind of just glancing at their schedules here. It's been kind of a struggle for Falk this year, sitting at 3-6 overall. Well, both of these teams are. One out-of-conference win for the both of them. Both beat Genoa.
Central.
Yeah, Genoa and Bismarck. So, pretty even matchup. So, I don't really know what we're going to get here. So, that one should be a fun one to watch. But let's move on down here to the 3A6.
Now, this is an interesting conference here because you've got McGee with 5-1 right now in the conference.
Yeah.
But they're done.
They're done, yeah.
Their conference season's over. Rising's at 5-0. All Rising has to do to win the conference is knock off at Pine Bluff Dollarway. Then Rising would be the 1 seed. McGee would be the 2.
Yeah.
And because McGee is already
they're done with theirs.
They're done with their conference, but they do have a game this week, and they're going to play Fordyce.
That's going to be an interesting one.
This all is because Little Rock Episcopal is not playing football. Well, they're playing 8-man football this year.
Yeah, they dropped out of this conference specifically, and I think Rising's been the only one that's just sort of taken advantage of it just being an open. Well, Palestine Wheatley did as well, but that was pretty early in the year. Not sure they could get something scrambled together there, but right now, Rising in the driver's seat.
All they got to do is knock off the Cardinals at Dollarway, and they are your conference champion. Which
looks pretty likely at this point. Dollarway kind of having a struggle of a year so far, so that's kind of what the 3A is looking like here. All right, let's get into the 2A. Let's look at that top 5 because thing kind of jumbles around. You see Hazen there still holding down the number 1 spot. Junction City jumps up into things. That's Foreman drops down. Gurdon getting up into things. Conway Christian. And then you see a host of other teams there. Mount Ida actually dropping out of this thing altogether. I was a little surprised at that, but I'm not surprised kind of at the same time. Gurdon taking on Mount Ida this past week. And boy, oh boy, did the Go Devils show up for this one. I was actually at this game, and man, this thing was electric. The atmosphere, I mean, it was rowdy. I mean, you think, oh, it's just a little 2A school. They got a few people. Nah, both sides We're into it. This was a hard-hitting game. Watch this. Yeah, right here. Boom. I mean, they were laying some wood out here. This was a fun game to watch. 14 there for Mount Ida is one of my favorite players. His name escapes me. K. Jackson.
Well, Garden.
He is one of my favorite players in all of high school football to watch. I mean, he is all over the place on both sides of the ball.
Everybody talked about Mount Ida Foreman in this conference.
Yeah.
All season long in the 2A7. Well, here comes Garden. Now, they've already knocked off Mount Ida. They're undefeated right now. They're going to play Foreman Friday night to see who wins the state championship.
They've at least got to share it, so they're getting a patch for sure.
So Mount Ida is going to come in third, more than likely. Yeah, they'll come in third because Foreman beat them. And whoever wins Garden-Foreman is your conference champ. If Foreman knocks off.
Well, Garden's at least got a conference championship. As you can see, I was out at that game. But they'll share it.
They'll share it.
Yeah.
If Foreman knocks off Garden, it's Garden and Foreman. And
they'll get the 1 seed.
But if Garden, well, I'm trying to say if Garden beats Foreman, Foreman will still get the 2 because they beat Mount Ida.
Right.
So that's how that's going to work.
Woo, a lot going on there. But kind of, since we're here on the 2A7, we'll kind of digest them. Mineral Springs, one of these other teams, they're going to Spring Hill. You should get that one.
Mineral Springs knocked off Foreman, one of the biggest upsets.
Yeah.
They knocked off Foreman 14-13 after Foreman knocked off Mount
That changed
Ida.
the whole facade of this conference.
Count, you can't count out Mineral Springs.
Not at all.
So don't forget about that.
Yeah, and then you've got Murfreesboro and Dirks battling it out for the last playoff spot. So how about that? Again, one of these things where, maybe on the surface it's like a couple of under 500 teams. No, sir. This is a huge game right here. You kind of glance over there at Dirks. They got Lafayette County and knocked off Spring Hill. So, two of those sort of expected games struggled a little bit in their out-of-conference. But if you look at it, played up big. I mean, Horatio, pretty good team. Mountain Pine, solid team. Jessieville, kind of one of those teams that we've always talked about here. So you kind of can't take much away from them. And then you've got Murfreesboro. They beat Horatio, so a little transitive win there, I guess, for the Rattlers. And then they got Centerpoint and Poen.
Well, as you're looking at the 2A, if you start at the top, you got.
Let's go back to the top. I'm gonna whiz this thing up here.
2A3, Salem's going to win the conference. They're already 5-0. East Poinsett County, they're already done. They're going to play Melbourne, so they're done. They're going to come in number 2 probably. So congratulations, Salem. They're going to win the 2A3. The 2A4 we just talked about, Mountainburg and Hector. Mountainburg is finished. Congratulations, they've already finished. They're going to win their conference season.
Yeah, they got the conference.
So I mean, but I said that a little early. They're going to play at Hector. Now Hector is they've got 1 loss already in the conference. That was at Magazine.
Yeah.
They played Junction City. This is the problem. So you got all these schools that dropped out.
Yeah,
you had
all over the
Decatur.
place here.
Yeah, Decatur dropped out.
Yeah.
That's why they're just mix and matching. So it's Mountainburg Hector right now. That's going to have a lot for the conference say. And as you go down to 2A5.
Well, even in some of the lower down, you've got.
This is the one you were talking about, the 2A5.
Yeah.
You got Conway Christian 6-0. You got Mountain Pine 5-1. They should already be finished for the season. Let's see.
Yeah, because Bigelow is playing at Conway Christian. Mountain Pine there's got Quitman, so they've still got conference games to settle.
They still got conference games.
But they played each other.
But they've already
Conway
played
Christian.
when Conway Christian's won, so that's what's going to happen there.
But then, you look further down, you've got England taking on Poen. Magnet Cove is in this discussion as well. They've got Cutter, should win that one. And then England, so England Poen has got some pretty big ramifications. Quitman's in this thing too, got Mountain Pines. I don't know if they're going to really, so Quitman could be on the outside looking in, kind of glancing at theirs. Yeah, so they beat Poen. So maybe Poen's on the outside looking in. Just kind of depends on how things shake out. Keep going there, Lanny.
2A6.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
Well, you got Hazen at 6-0. You got Des Arc at 5-1, and you got Earl and Carlisle at 4-2. And you got Des Arc's going to play at Clarendon. They're probably going to win that game. I don't think there's much doubt about that.
Big one here, and I believe Mitch Petrus is going to be out at this one. Carlisle and Earl.
And you've got Hazen who's going to play Marvell, Elaine, and Marvell's going for a perfect season. So you think Hazen would win that game. So Hazen should be your 2A6 conference champion.
Well, they've already got a share at least, so they're going for it outright here.
Yeah.
But again, kind of goes down to the seeding there. You've got Des Arc taking on Clarendon this week. Should get that one. Clarendon, though, already in the playoffs. It looks, yeah, they're already in. So the playoff teams are set. Still a little bit to be determined there in terms of the seeding here. Again, that Earl Carlisle game, huge game, as both of those teams are kind of fighting for that 3 seed. And some bragging rights there. Again, our Mitch Petrus, I believe, is going to be out there at that one because, he's a good old Carlisle boy, too.
Yep,
so,
he is.
If you're from Earl and you get to that game, give him a hard time because he would enjoy that for sure.
This is what it's all about right here, 2A7.
Yep.
It's as simple as this. Garden knocks off Foreman. Garden's your conference champion. It's that simple. I mean, you got Garden, you got Foreman, and you got Mount Ida. Just all of them,
right
all
there.
3 of them real good. The game is at Foreman. And that's what it's all about. If Garden wins, they're the conference champion. Foreman wins, Foreman's a conference champ. We kind of hit that a while ago.
Yeah, they'll share that. Mount Ida Middle Springs are still in the thing here. And then, again, Murfreesboro and Dirk's going for that last playoff spot.
What about this one here in the 2A8? Here, once again.
Boy, this thing.
You got Hampton that's already finished the conference. They're going to play at Harding Academy. That has 0 bearing on the conference right now. But you have Junction City that's undefeated, and they're going to go play at Parker's Chapel, which you would think Junction City will win that game. So it looks like Junction City is going to be your 2A8 conference champion.
Yeah, so woo!
And that's it in the 2A.
Still, yeah.
There's what our point is, great football around the state.
All over.
Go find you a football game. We talk
Yeah.
about it, but there's so much on the line for Friday night. Some schools, they'll be playing basketball next Monday.
Absolutely, and again, we know a lot of these games maybe on paper, they're not too glamorous. Man, these things are huge. They're all big games right now, and we went through plenty of scenarios where things can happen. And this is why I love this time of year right here. But anyways,
There's only one place to find out who wins, though.
right here, fearlessfriday.com. You can tune in. You see the scoreboard as things are happening. That thing's going to be live. You got fearlessfriday.com. So make sure you get on, log on. Also, if you're out there in the stands and you don't happen to have your iPad or your laptop, boom, there you go. Get the Fearless Friday app. They're in the Apple App Store, Google Play, so you got things on the go there. Submit those scores. Help us help the people because we are, Lanny Beavers here, he's a man of the people. He's trying to do what's best for everybody out there. So get on there, submit your scores as the quarters come through. Keep us updated on those things. Also, make sure you tune in. Fox 16 News. I think we're going to change the format a little bit this week because, you got some Thursday games here. So we're going to have a little bit on Thursday night for the regular 9 o'clock show. We won't have the 10:30 on Thursday, but then on Friday night, just like it always is, 9:30, things are going on, 10:30, get the full state wrap up, and you'll have a pretty good idea
and
what's going on.
No baseball interruptions this week.
Yeah, no World Series to wait till, I think that show ran at like literally 3 in the morning. But if you did miss that show, you can go back, get on fearlessfriday.com. Boom, it's right there at the top. They just posted it a couple days ago. Make sure you can go back. You'll be all up to date. You can watch the show as well as things have evolved. Woo! All right, we've made it here to the end. Throw the rankings out the window because they don't matter no more.
Nope.
All right, so that'll do it for us. Next week, be back here because we are going to have brackets galore. It's one of my favorite shows of the year because we're going to make some picks. I know Rance says he's been studying up our audio guy, so we're gonna see if he knows what he's talking about. If he's been paying attention out here, so we're gonna get him involved in the picks as well. But that'll do it. It's been a fun year. Let's get to the postseason. Let's start handing out some hardware.